HTML has gotten better and better. One of the things that happened is before, you notice what I had to do is in the last example, I had to sit there and create every div that was humanly possible. And one of the things that happened as HTML5 has popped up, other than the power of HTML5, most of it what you'll see and what you'll maybe relatively code with is really the tip of the iceberg. There's so many APIs, there's so much power that HTML5 is going to allow us to do to be dynamic and make great flexible web pages, adding in code. But really one of the great things for layouts is HTML5 has a couple of included really simple layouts. And these layouts are really simple. Think about it as everyone who put it together looked and said, what are the most common things that are in the page? And those are a header and a footer. So now, instead of actually going in and creating all these crazy, divs like a person and having to go in, one of the things I'll do is I'll use the header tag and I can use the footer tag. So these are now actual real tags in HTML. And of course I misspelled footer, don't mind me. I can put in text. I'll save them. I'll reload. And of course, nothing happens. One of the things about it that's happened is if we look at our reset.css, I'm going to love this because I love to show this example. Let's go to our CSS. I'm going to open up reset.css, and here you go. Here's a couple of tags that are in HTML5. They are footer tags, there are header tags, there are also summary, there's audio and video tags, there's details. But really for me, the most important one, there's even a menu and a nav tag. We can actually start using some of these tags to start structuring our pages. And so there's really a lot of power that happens here. If I actually get rid of the reset.css, automatically the text and why don't I show it right here? I'm going to get rid of let's just hide it for a second. I'm going to get rid of the reset so I can show you. I reload the page, and you now notice that it automatically has spacing to it. And one of the things that happens is when I start working with these tags, they really are labeled divs. This is really the great thing about it. Instead of having me create a div that's called header, nav, footer, I can actually use the HTML5 header, nav, and footer. I'm going to actually, maybe I'll turn this back on so I can show you guys the example. Because again, all I did is there's some built-in styling to these. But what I want to do is I want to start them very clean. Again, these are not divs. These are not IDs. These are actually global tags. So I can actually start using these just like I would divs. Again, not earth-shattering, but one of the things that this is giving me a lot of life into it is a lot of things like certain content management systems, instead of having to use their code, are now using HTML5 so that they can start using the pre-built headers, footers, and nav, and a lot of this pre-built HTML5. Again, really, really simple. It replaces the divs that I have. Instead of having to write them like a crazy person, it standardizes the code. And that's really the goal of HTML, is to standardize the code so that we're not having to write more and more in the code. I'm not having to write divs. I'm not write classes. I can just take them and start actually working and adding my own code, because the main focus of programming in CSS is to stylize. So again, they work like divs, but it really cuts a lot of that effort out. Instead of me having to think, okay, what am I going to make? You know what? I could just use the header, the footer, the nav, the menu to actually use these pre-built styles. Again, not earth-shattering, but really amazing for us to actually help organize our thoughts. The goal is about organizing CSS. It's about organizing our process. Now the next time anybody looks at my code in layout, and now the good thing that my layout is actually right next to the global tags, they'll see, oh, I'm using the header, I'm using the nav, I'm using the footer, and now I can actually put divs inside of it. One of the things that we've seen is when you start nesting divs within divs within divs, CSS, of course, cascading style sheets, starts affecting one div and another div and another div. This is a great way of taking that large div out of the equation so we can really focus on the content inside of it.